Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel, Fish Den 365, and welcome back to Topwater Tuesday! Today, we're going to go underwater to show you 3 different frogs, to show you what the profile looks like, how they work from the bass's point of view. The first one is the jackal Gavacho. We're going to look at the 6th Sense Vega frog and the 13 fishing trash panda. We're going to take you out in the water. We're going to give you an underwater view of these frogs, give a few comments about it, come back afterwards and let you know the summary for what we thought, any pros and cons with each one of these frogs from the fish's point of view underwater. Come on, let's go.
So I'm really glad I did this video with these topwater lures. I learned so much by doing it. Just to get started, to let you know, we were using 50-pound braid for all of these frogs. So all of them were fished on the same line with the same rod and reel setup. And the 50-pound braid does show up in the video. You can see it on the surface of the water. And so if you were fishing in slop, that doesn't matter, I don't think. I don't think they really notice that if you're fishing in a lot of weeds and vegetation. But if you're fishing these frogs in open water, it may matter. Maybe it'd be better to have something that's less visible, monofilament, like a green monofilament line. And these frogs are mostly fished in heavy cover, weeds and slop and lily pads, but there's a lot of fishermen out there that are using these more and more in open water and doing really well on them. And it's because they actually look quite good, as you'll see in this video. I think they have a good profile to them and they have good action as well. So one of the things that I noticed right away is, these frogs have different colors, right? White belly here, whitish belly on this one. In the water, they all are just a silhouette mostly. There's very little color differentiation when you're seeing it from the angle of the camera. And in this particular case, the camera's on the bottom looking straight up at the surface. And so you're seeing the angle, you're seeing what this bait looks like in this way. So that got me to thinking maybe it would be better to have an angle where the camera is more like this, so that you can see more of the side of the bait, because a fish can come up this way, but it could also come this way. And so if you have an interest in seeing it from that angle, let me know. I will try and produce a video where I get the angle this way on the topwater lure, but from maybe a 45-degree angle from the side. I'm interested in doing that myself. If you have an interest, please comment and let me know, and we'll get working on that for the very next Topwater Tuesday. Each one of these frogs also had its own sound, so turn the volume up when you're watching this, as you're watching the frogs go by, because that sound, I think, sometimes can be very important. Different sounds can attract fish differently, and so the sound, I think, also matters. And when it came to sound, I really liked how the Vega frog performed. Two of these frogs have cupped mouths. They walk, but they also can pop, or at least that's what these cupped mouths are doing. So they're kind of like hybrid frogs. And then the last one, the trash panda, this one is more of a standard type of frog it has that keel. And out of the three frogs, the trash panda actually was easiest to walk the dog. It wasn't that you couldn't walk the dog with the others. These walk the dog they walk the dog just as well. It's just a little bit more difficult to get them to walk a little subtler method of twitching that rod. The other thing I noticed about the Vega frog is when I would, one of the ways I like to fish this frog is to make it slap the water, make that face slap the water, because it has an angle like this, and when you twitch the rod a certain way, it slaps as it goes through. And when I did it that way and observed it under the water, it actually looked like a frog. The silhouette of the bait and the movement made it look like a frog coming through the water. But when we walk the dog with these baits, they could pass more for a bird than a frog from the way I see it, as they're walking the dog and skating side to side. Kind of an interesting thing, because you can fish them both ways. Even looking at the legs of these frogs, they were just basically silhouettes, except for the Gavacho. Of the three frogs, I think I was most impressed with the Gavacho. And there's a few reasons for that. The way they configure these legs, they're separated. And so even though you're looking at it under the water, you can clearly see two brown and one black coming out of there, where the legs on these other frogs, there's not much color differentiation in them anyway. This has some green and black, and this has some of this gold. You couldn't really see that gold though couldn't really see that gold on the trash panda though. So it was just a silhouette. The legs were just a silhouette. But this bait, the Gavacho, really impressed me, because you can do a lot with it. You can pop it, you can make it slap the surface, you can make it walk as well. And the thing that I noticed with the Gavacho that the other two frogs didn't have, and if you look back at this, you'll notice this too, is that the Gavacho has a sheen to it. See how it's got that shine to it? The light shines off it. These other ones are more of a matte finish frog. Well, that sheen mattered when you were looking at it from underneath, because when it would turn a little bit, you'd see that flash. Watch it in slow motion. You'll see that flash as I turn the bait, as I move the bait. It just wobbles enough to make a flash, and you see that lighter brown or copper color there. And that I thought was quite interesting. So I will be spending more time fishing the Gavacho in the future because I really like the action of it. Well, I hope you got something out of this video. I sure did. It's always interesting seeing how these baits look from the bass's point of view. And I look forward to bringing more of this kind of video to you from the topwater perspective. And if you'd like to see another topwater video where I use the Vega frog, but also another bait that I think of as a substitute for the frog, the Huddleston weedless shad. Take a look at this one right here. Until next time, be safe out there. Hope to see you on the water, and as always, may God bless your fishing endeavors.